And no, even though you went through it, you know what it is, and you should be able to recognize it and be cool about it. You're not cool about it. The whole time you're like, no, don't go.
So the movie is amazing, and I'm so excited for everyone to see it. And it's so relatable in every way. And, I love the name Turning Red. Turning red has a lot of connotations behind it. It could symbolize getting your period. It could mean the color of raging hormones, symbolizes rage, and symbolizes good luck, lucky. What does Turning Red mean to you?
Oh, yeah, it means all of those.
I know. I was like, that's a really good synopsis.
Yeah, I think it was a perfect title that encompasses everything in the movie. We thought emotions, puberty, Chinese culture. Yeah.
I love the title because I think for the longest time we were playing around, as we do, play around with titles all the time. And it's always hard to kind of find the one that works. And I love the fact that it's like an active thing.
It does change.
It's a change. It's also about kind of saying that like turning red. It's not like you're always red. It's like it is a very volatile and kind of active process that kind of comes and goes. I really love that about the title too. I
love that movie also. It has a lot of nooks and crannies of Easter eggs, and not just Pixar Easter eggs, but just both Canadian with I noticed the sorry when they apologize.
Yeah.
And the Asian tidbits of a toilet paper being used as regular tissue in the living room, as well as the Asian aunties. What were some of your favorites that you both definitely wanted to put into the film that makes it kind of unique and set your own tone to it?
Yeah.
I have one. I have one. Yeah. This is like so specific, but I like my family saw it last night and I like looked down the aisle to be like, oh, there's like, because when she talks about having a double jointed elbow, like my math teacher in college, like in high school, had a double jointed elbow and could do a perfect circle. Like there's just stuff like that you like all of us had. I mean, it's a very specific thing, but like we'd have these really specific memories of kind of that time in our lives and of like weird, quirky things that were like super like made a huge impression. So I think there's always stuff like that. The toilet paper is a great example, like sitting on the coffee table.
Yeah, a couple Canadian ones I love. When May and her friends are hustling the panda making money, like there's a slow-mo drop of all of these Canadian coins, like loonies and toonies, that I specifically asked them to put in the shot, because before it was just dimes and like quarters, and I was like, no, in Canada we have $1 and $2 coins, so make sure we see that. And then in the convenience store, I think in the background somewhere you see a sign for like bags of milk for $2. And I remember it being in a Sets review, and someone raised their hand and they're like, is that a mistake? Like, what are bags of milk? And then I was like, well, let me tell you, in Ontario, Canada, we sell milk in bags, not cartons.
Yeah.
So that was a fun Easter egg to put in.
Oh, I need to look at that again, because I was looking for a lot of the Canadian stuff too. I was like, yes, let's have some Asian and Canadian stuff. But I do want to touch on one of my favorite characters, May's father, Jin. Who's a secondary role to his wife, but still an important role in both May and Ning's life. How did you decide to write Jin's character?
Yeah, I mean, I think with like all of the characters, he started off kind of like a little bit more one-dimensional, and then we kind of gave him more depth throughout the production. But I think it was important for us to make sure that he wasn't just this dopey animation dad who was like useless, that he was strong in his own way. Like he supported his family in his own unique Jin way. Like he didn't speak a lot, but when he did, it was impactful, and you could tell he was like really listening and paying attention to all the drama that was going on with his wife and his daughter. And I just love that we introduced him through cooking, because I think there's a lot of like a lot of people don't know that like Chinese dads cook just as much as Chinese moms do. And that's kind of how he shows his love and support for his family.
I think any dad of daughters, I mean, I know my dad having 2 daughters, and I have 2 daughters, like their role really is the even kind of peacemaker at times. Like they kind of stay out of the way. If they've married a strong woman and they are raising strong daughters, they know like, okay, they have that role of kind of being the voice of reason and sometimes coming in with like the wisdom you need when all the emotion is high in the house. And I think that's what, I mean, Jin's the hero of the story. Like he's always doing what's needed to be done to make sure that his family and his girl and his girls, his women are protected and safe and hearing what they need to hear.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I really found the characters in the story relatable, especially when it deals with rebelling against your parents. And she's starting to lie. She wants to go to a concert that she's not allowed to. Can you recall a rebellious moment for yourself? And then was there anything rebellious in the movie that you were like, oh yeah, that was definitely me?
I remember a rebellious moment when I was like a child. I wasn't even a teenager, but I thought it would be so cool and independent if me and my friend walked home from school by ourselves. So we didn't wait for our parents to pick us up because I was like, we know the route. And this was grade 3. And we lived in downtown Toronto, downtown city.
You gave your parents heart attack.
Yeah, where literally my route to school was we passed by a strip club every day. I passed by a strip club every day. So I was I held my friend's hand. I was like, let's go.
Yeah.
We're independent women. And then my parents got so mad.
Yeah, that's a good one. I was definitely that moment where May is she's quietly rolling her eyes and walking out when her mom said no. And she's mumbling to herself. That was so me. I'd always be like, fine. And I'd under my breath say the thing I was not allowed to say. Sometimes it was swear words or something, just very quietly under my breath. And invariably my dad would be like, I heard that, as I walked out of the room and kind of laughed because he was so he thought it was hilarious when I would get to that, which infuriated me all the more, right? Because I was like, no, don't laugh at my fury. So I think there's, I love, I was quietly rebellious, I think. In my mind, I was a lot more rebellious than in action.
I do want to touch on, like May, we go through so many emotions growing up and we consider important, what we consider important changes from family to friends. And how was this growing up for you? And how has these relationships changed for you from, adolescence to now?
Yeah, I think that's something that we really wanted to touch on in the movie, coming of age and growing. A big part of growing up is when your most important relationships shift from your family to your friends and people outside of your family, and kind of following May as she kind of grapples with this very natural thing that happens, but she is kind of fighting it the whole way. And I think I was like that too. I went from being super close with my mom to slowly drifting apart, naturally, as all kids do when they start growing up, especially in a different environment, in a different country than where their parents grew up in. I was just evolving into a different person.
I think, I'm coming from the perspective of a mom of teens right now. So what you just said, I was like, all kids do. I'm like, yeah. And it's really hard. It's hard on both sides, right? It's hard as the kid to kind of find your way and start to break away from that really close relationship. And then it's devastating for the parent to watch and know it, even though you went through it, you know what it is, and you should be able to recognize it and be cool about it. You're not cool about it the whole time. You're like, no, don't go. But I love the fact that the girls in this movie, the May's friends, those are the groups of friends you want for your kids. That's the group you hope your kids are surrounded by when they have those moments of feeling like they can't trust their family or they want to move out. That those group of friends are there to provide that confidence. So I love that about the film too, that the friends are they're not mean, they're so supportive and so loving and comfortable and confident in their friendship.
Well, I just have one quick one. Bop of 2000, your favorite bop of 2000 since it has boy bands. And then we'll go.
Favorite boy band bop, you said?
Yeah, a song.
Bop. What was your song in 2000s?
2000s, Rock Your Body by Justin Timberlake.
Okay.
Oh, God darn it. I liked Family Affair by Mary J. Blige.
All right. Thank you guys so much and have a good one. Thank you.